Just outside of Blenheim on the mouth of the Wairau River is one of New Zealand's most important archaeological sites. It is the earliest known human settlement in New Zealand, first occupied sometime in the 13th century. Rangitāne, who are direct descendants of the early settlers, took some of the Tuia 250 crew for a special visit. And for the Tahitians, it was a chance to reconnect with relations that left Hawaii long ago.
Today we had the chance to go on the Wairau Bar. The feeling is strong, it's very deep. We could go to the burial, we could see where they were cooking food and all those things that some people on the island are still doing, you know? I was imagining, at the time we were there, I would just, like if the tupuna were talking to me and I could imagine them make the food, and maybe when they were young, they were in the islands, and maybe they already met our tupuna from Tahiti. And it was an honor for us from Whawhaiti to be here and to have the chance to work on this land.
Back in the 40s, these burials were dug up and the artefacts and these ancestral people were taken away. In 2009, we managed to have our tupuna returned. So we had a huge repatriation, and that's where our relationship came with Otago University, with Richard and Lisa.
Let's give a warm welcome to Professor Lisa Matiso-Smith.
As part of Tuia 250, Rangitāne held a series of lectures with special guest speakers such as Lisa Matiso-Smith,
and Yorana,
Professor of Biological Anthropology and the head of the Department of Anatomy at the University of Otago.
in agreement with Rangitāne, undertook DNA analyses of the tupuna, and the surprising thing that we found was that the tupuna had a significant amount of diversity in maternal lineages, more than we anticipated. It indicates that the founding population actually was very, very large. We think at least 500, but probably closer to 1,000 women in the founding population that would have come over a period of probably about 100 years. There were many, many waka coming from a number of different islands in that general Hawaii zone, or that homeland, that East Polynesian homeland that arrived here over a very short period of time. And what we're seeing is that people were moving between the islands within Hawaii zone to Hawaii, down to Aotearoa, out to Rapa Nui, and also we found evidence that people actually introduced the chicken to South America prior to the arrival of Columbus and the Europeans, who it had previously been believed had introduced chickens to the New World. They're reaching South America in time to bring the kumara back from South America and distribute it throughout the Polynesian Triangle.
So the Europeans used to say that the ocean divides us, but the oceans actually make the link between us.
We found that there was a house site here. And that house site was quite interesting. There was an adze from the Coromandel found in that house site. The guy had been sitting on the pipe out the front of the house making adzes, and all these flakes were there, 3,000 adze flakes.
Also conducting a lecture was Professor Richard Walter, Head of Program for Archaeology at the University of Otago.
These adzes, these toki from Wairau Bar, would not be out of place in the Marquesas or Huahine. They are absolutely identical. They give us the connection, the tangible connection between where we are now, here in Marlborough, to Hawaii, to the islands. And just to be clear about this, these adzes here are nothing like what you would ever find in Samoa or Tonga or Fiji. This is our Hawaii connection.
We already have this feeling that we are all brothers, you know, and when we go in that mare and that mare, we always feel like home. We are the same family. And I think all this work they did on the DNA and the archaeology is very important, because some people still need to have evidence to prove this. And it's not a big problem if we don't need it to know, but some people need it, and maybe our children need this also, because we live in a world that everything has to be proved, you know.
Yes.
And a long story or a legend or a myth is not enough now. And thankful for what the Rangitāne we allowed us to do today and come here and share this moment with them.